Hello and welcome. This is hashtag, and this is where I get to tell you everything that's trending online, especially on X. My name is Vivian, and I'm not flying solo. I got my co-anchor here. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening to our viewers.
Absolutely. So it is just one day to the weekend, and it's a newsy day, I can tell you that. So we've got lots of hashtags. Let me just whet your appetite a little bit before we go on a very short break. So we've got hashtag Aisha Yufu, who is calling the newly formed coalition party a party of the old guard. Gosh. She said something really heavy. I'm going to be showing you the tweet. I pulled up a tweet. She said what she said. You're going to see it in a short while. We also have hashtag Tambow. People are linking up the former Sokoto State Governor to Peter Obi. It's like this thing is going to happen. Are we looking at a Peter Obi Tambow ticket? We also have hashtag Amechi, as well as hashtag Tinubu, hashtag Buhari, who is in a hospital in London, and then there are tales about him being in the ICU, him being critically ill. But people, his close people have come out to debunk that rumor that he's not critically ill, that he just went to the UK for a medical checkup. Last but not least, it's a very unfortunate one. It is a breaking news. Our very own Peter Rufai is dead. We're going to be talking about all of these things in a short while. So hang with me, yeah? We'll be right back after this short break.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOPTV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOPTV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOPTV. Now you have more than a voice. Catch up with the latest topics making the buzz, the stories that tick, the trends. Let's let you in on why they are trending, from politics, entertainment, business, lifestyle, and more. Analyzing the trending stories with top eyeballs. Hashtag on Voice of the People Television, giving you an insight to everything and everyone Nigeria is talking about. Showing on VOPTV, 10 p.m. Monday to Friday. Hashtag, if it's trending, we bring it on.
All right, welcome back. The show is hashtag, and this is if this is your first time, guys, welcome aboard. Promises to be a very interesting edition. So the first hashtag for today is Aisha Yufu. She is an activist. You remember the hashtag BBOG, Bring Back Our Girls movement. Way back, she was one of the founders. She had her partner, Obi Kwesili, and lots of other people on that team, and they made quite a splash during that saga when the Chibok girls were taken. Even though some people have come out to say, is she really an activist or a stooge? Well, but that's not the issue today, yeah? Aisha Yufu is reacting to the formation of an opposition party, the big coalition, which birthed just yesterday, ADC. ADC is trending non-stop 2 days into, its formation. And it's like that's all Nigerians can talk about. So Aisha Yufu is wearing in, and she's saying, this is like an older generation thing. How about youths? How about the women? Why don't I take you to X, a pull up the tweets by a couple of publications, and then we'll take a look at what Aisha herself is saying regarding the formation of the ADC. Let's go. So, the Punch newspaper says, socio-political activist Aisha Yufu has raised concerns over the composition of the newly unveiled African Democratic Congress coalition, urging its leaders to ensure meaningful inclusion of youths and women in policy-making roles. For emphasis, we put up another tweet by another publication. Nigeria Story says, the ADC coalition must prioritize youths and women in its leadership, Aisha Yufu says. Now, let's take a look at the post that Aisha herself put up. Aisha Yufu says, Dear coalition ADC, women leader and youth leader positions cannot be what is reserved for women and youth. You see this table full of older generation men cannot be the only ones allowed to make the decision as we go on. Women and youth must be in the midst of decision making and not as afterthought in the form of tokenism. I mean, what's that?
Tokenism.
Tokenism. All right, thank you. What does it mean?
Just for being part of its sake.
Just like a token.
Yeah.
Let's continue with her tweet. Thank you, Ikechukwu, by the way. So she now goes on to say, dear women and youths, this is the time for the numbers you have to be heard loud and clear. Join with exclamation marks. And then she says, be part of the leadership, be part of the delegates, be part of floor members, overwhelm for good, bring in ideas from out of the box. This is deep, yeah?
Yeah, very deep. Okay, so when I see comment like this, people trying to promote inclusivity, that's exactly what it is. Everybody should be a part of it. The first question...
Women and youth in particular.
Yes. When I see stuff like that, I mean, we've seen, people saying, okay, this should not just be a male thing. There should be women should be included. We've seen categories of, blacks are being exempted. It should be inclusive, and stuff like that. This is just one of it because you want all groups to be part of it in this rebuild process, right? But the first question I ask myself is this, right? The first thing, weak people don't lead negotiation. Now, from the way she's sounding, the women and the youth are, in a weak position. Now, how do you place yourself, in a position of strength? I mean, the youth have the numbers. I think around 2018, there was a statistics about the people who populated social media space for Nigeria. About 40 million of them are youth. Now, it says a lot about, the untapped energy that we have that we've not really harnessed. Just imagine 40 million of us come together and then make a decision. These people will definitely just go back because, of course, democracy is about numbers, right? Yeah. Again, you also need to understand that any society that lacks history will not progress because you can't actually make a move without understanding where you're from. And who are the history or the custodian of this history in this regard? The old guards. Yeah. So you need the old guards as much as you need the young ones to actually make a society work.
So it must be a balanced diet.
It must be a balance because, I mean, you can one group of people cannot, one demography of people rather cannot, make a society work. Now in this case, right, she's actually pushing for this. If the youths, see, the reason why we continue to have this recycled old men or old politicians take decisions for us is simple. The youth across the country are yet to understand how to broker peace or deal amongst themselves to forge a path.
Take, for example, someone like Omoyele Sowore.
For example.
So he was on Twitter and he was lambasting the coalition. And he listed the names of everybody involved and said this is their crime and all of that. Would you say that shouldn't be what he should be doing, but he should rather think of ways to be working hand in hand with them or hand in glove with them? So
for the case, right, has actually put himself in a position of being an activist. And that's what activists do all of the time. They challenge people who they see as the establishment. They challenge people who they see as the people who are actually holding the less privileged behind. Right. So I'm more focused on the young people, you and I, people who have actually not tasted power. Right. People like Aisha Yufu, who before 2012 was never anywhere close to people who make key decisions in the country. Right. Now, these sort of people, can we come across north and south, make a decision, let's sit together, let's form a party There was a time when they said youth party of Nigeria. The youth across the country cannot even sit and have a conversation. 20 million enough. 20 million youth across the country is enough to win an election.
Yeah, but will there be a consensus? Can the youths come together?
Exactly what I'm saying, right? You cannot do that. So because you cannot do it, goes back to the fact, not even money at this point. It goes back to the fact that a lot has happened, right? Stories have been told across certain people, but these guys these guys who told us this story, these people who actually are the custodian of this story, can actually wake up one morning and get to meet, and that's exactly why we're having an Rufai and P2B having a conversation, and that's why we're having people who believe these guys cannot even be in the same room, but somehow they're in the same room having a coalition, and then we are cheering. Because they understand how to actually shoot their sword and look at the common goal, but we are yet to understand it.
And that's what the youth should be
putting
their eyeballs on.
Yes.
But also to note that video we saw yesterday, there are a number of youths, right? So maybe they've not made their voices known and all of that.
Our position has always been to cheer. We've not been able to
speak loud.
We've not been able to actually look at ourselves. You across the Niger, me here, let's have a conversation. How do we even move this country forward? Let's take out this person. So
you've talked about the youths. Now let's talk about women. Now it has been said that women in Nigeria do not support women. Well, and maybe not even in Nigeria alone, even in the US.
Across the world.
The women didn't really support Hillary Clinton when she wanted to be president, or Kamala Harris for that matter. Now, the thing is, remember Sarah Jibril? She used to be called the serial presidential candidate and all of that. Whenever you hear them counting the votes, it will be just her vote, Sarah Jibril for Sarah Jibril. And you see lots of female delegates, no vote for her. There's been another professor who wanted to be president of the country. She didn't get any massive votes from the female.
I think she was the Kowa party or something.
Kowa party. Yeah. Good. Yeah, you think on your feet. Thank you. So there's been this talk about women not supporting women, except for one instance where during the Senator Natasha saga, you saw somebody like Obi Ezekwesili standing up for her and speaking, even when you had the likes of Iriti, King Ibe saying you shouldn't have done that and all of that. So do you think one of the problems really will be that women really do not support women?
No, I don't think that's entirely true. Okay. But when it comes to politics, right, the first question we will ask ourselves is that demographic of people, are they really interested in politics?
That's a good question.
That's the first thing.
But they are, right? We've seen women.
No,
so maybe the majority of women are not really interested in
women
politics.
are very passive when it comes to,
That might not be a correct statement.
No, they are very passive when it comes to politics.
Maybe a chunk of women.
That's not the most, we are discussing majority here. We're not discussing exception, we are discussing the rule. Hey. Women naturally are not drawn to politics. I think that's the word. They're not drawn to politics. Entertainment or something else,
I really don't agree. I don't agree with that.
Okay, but they're not drawn to politics.
But the things...
We can agree they're not drawn to politics.
Well, I don't agree. Really.
No, they are not naturally drawn to politics.
Maybe a chunk of women are not drawn to politics.
The same thing, majority.
No, you can't say majority. We can't even stand here and say that. Okay. We have to carry out an investigation. Maybe do a random one. Yes, no, why are you laughing?
When it concerns women, it's a very different conversation.
But the thing is, Aisha Yufu has said something, yeah. Remove the person who is talking about it, because some people are saying, now you they can't tell us this kind of thing and all of that. But I want to ask, would you say what she just said is really important?
Very, very important. Inclusivity, because what like you rightly also said, that it has to be a balance. Right? The society cannot function with just one demographic. Across the world, everywhere you see the system work, you understand that the youth plays a very active role. Right? Women are excellent leaders from the back. Right? They are not very, they are not very, concerned about being political. And that's why when one of them come out to really want to be a political officer, they don't really get that massive support. Even during election, people who really move, for electoral positions and all of that are mostly males. Right? The likes of Ala Kija, for example, who are very wealthy. Right? You ask yourself, it's about money, right? Why can't she just, step in the ring? But it's not just about money, it's about interest. They are very, very not concerned about these things. And that's exactly what it is. But again, it goes back to what I was saying before. The truth is, if the women and the youth really want to be part of this, they need to first address themselves as a group before, these old guys will take them serious. You can't just wake up every day and start screaming, we need inclusivity. Nobody gives you that.
That's a good place to land, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next hashtag, which is hashtag Tambow. The former governor of Sokoto State is trending, and there's a picture of himself. It's a video actually, but I'm going to give you a screenshot of the two of them, because it's just a very short video, like 5 seconds. But it's a video of Tambow and Peter Obi sitting together, and people are now linking the two together. Ikechukwu, you and I talked about this. Who knew it was going to become a trend today? They are taking a look at the Tambow Obi ticket. So let me take you to X, and so you understand exactly what I'm saying. So this first tweet now is coming from someone called Uban something, really. I'm trying to figure out what that is. And then he put up this video, like I told you, it's a screenshot of Tambow and Obi sitting together, even though Obi doesn't look very happy, and Tambow is all smiles and doing a thumbs up. And then this person says, Senator Tambow and Mr. Peter Obi. There's another one, let's take a look at it. Son of Saraki says, Aminu Waziri Tambow appreciation post. Someone was hailing him, and he was giving the president a thumbs up. And then that's someone with someone wearing an ADC cap. That's hilarious to me. But that's Peter Obi looking, I don't know, what's that look on his face? Ikechukwu, you tell me a little while. You seem to be a body language expert. But there's another tweet though, hashtag Tambow. Yes, this is coming from Tambow Media, and it says, we are still members of PDP and we are going nowhere, but we will work for ADC. We adopt Wike's style of politics. I retweet anything ADC today. So is Wike the father of this trend right now where you remain in a political party, but you decide to work for another political party, and then it becomes a thing, everybody accepts it? It's just like a Democrat saying, I still remain a Democrat, but I'm going to work for the Republican to become whoever in the next election cycle. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, well, and it shows how badly structured our political space is. It shows that we really don't care about ideology, because if we do care about ideology, the APC will not have a PDP member doing what he's doing from his own party. Again, right? It's all about the people who actually make these particular political parties and what they actually think and how what their interest for the nation is. In the First Republic, politicians at that point actually obey party supremacy. You can't do this sort of playing for this team and then putting the jersey of another team while playing for the CB. It's never done in the First Republic. But as years goes by, right, our value system and our electoral process got eroded, and then we start having people actually doing a lot of stuff, and that's exactly why we're having what we're having today. So yes, I mean, it's a trend. Someone definitely have to start it, and Wike have actually shown us it is possible. So
we saw the tweet yesterday when somebody said our national leader,
yes,
Wike did it, so we are following him.
So you're going to have a lot of that, and yes, it's all about now planting a mole. Everybody wants to actually do whatever it is they like, and at this point, it feels like we don't even have a political party. People can actually just wake up one morning and then sit here and do whatever it is they like. I think I saw somewhere where Labour Party gave a press statement saying that they are giving Peter Obi 48 hours to actually officially resign, because of course what he's actually doing at this point is not even different from what Wike did, because I mean Wike is very much a PDP member, but he's saying it's going to work for the APC. Now you are very much a Labour Party member, but now you are fully part of the coalition, the ADC coalition. So you see these sort of things, right? So these are the issues. If we don't get a proper electoral system, if we don't get laws that will checkmate these sort of things, I mean, time will come, maybe we'll go to a position, a situation where it's going to become, individual persons running for political office, and maybe that's going to actually solve our problem at the end of the day.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
Independent candidate is a thing in the US, so we can also have it, and it's going to solve all of this problem, because people who have a grassroots movement, people who have mass following, can now come up and then win elections.
Well, how much of a sway can an independent candidate pull in Nigeria of today, where there is this thing about stomach infrastructure, there's this thing about monetizing politics and electioneering processes and all of that? How much of a sway can an independent candidate pull? But that's something we probably will talk about.
The truth is, we've seen two persons, in this country, say three, that have shown that if given the opportunity to run as an independent candidate, they can actually pull a lot of votes.
You want to name?
Kwankwasiya, his movement, the Obedient Movement, and Buhari. These guys have massive grassroots following, and they can actually pull at least 1 million votes.
Yeah, but they cannot win the country. They still need support from
No, I'm saying if it happens that, we are now looking at independent candidates running for election, these guys have what it takes to actually
They can, but can they win it?
if they don't run alone? I mean, no, sorry. I mean, if they run alone and everyone is also allowed to run alone, yes, they can.
Good. If it's a level playing field,
yes.
Yeah, that can work. Now, the next hashtag is actually hashtag Amechi. Amechi is trending for a lot of reasons. So yesterday he resigned from the APC, but some people were saying, he has not said it himself, so we don't believe it. So he was on a televised interview today to say he has officially resigned from the APC. I'm going to pull in that tweet in a short while for you to take a look at. And then he also said a number of things like former President Muhammadu Buhari was here to make Nigerians happy, but that's not the goal for this administration. Why don't I take you to X so you see for yourself what I'm talking about, and then Ikechukwu and I will have a go at it. So Amechi, the former governor of Rivers State, former transportation minister, is talking. Parallel Fact says Nigeria is completely destroyed. Amechi dumps APC, slams Tinubu, INEC over hunger, election rigging. Ikechukwu, you and I are going to talk about this a little bit before we go to the next tweet where Amechi is confirming his resignation. See, so Parallel Facts actually quoting Amechi, who said Nigeria is completely destroyed, and that's one of the reasons he's dumping the APC. Is slamming Tinubu and INEC over hunger and election rigging. So he's putting Tinubu and INEC in the same box, and he's putting election rigging, really, and hunger in the same box.
Yeah, I've always said it that people who vote, they don't decide who wins. It is those who count the votes that decides. I mean, an election where the winner was declared around 4 a.m. and everybody woke up in the next morning in a very sad mood. It says a lot about, the credibility of the person who won the election. It says a lot about, the people who actually voted, what they felt the answer should have been. It says a lot about how the country turned out, years after. This is exactly what it is. Now, after, this president got into office, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our Naira got devalued. There's hunger in the land. In fact, I think it was this morning I was having a conversation with a friend, and we're talking about, coppers back in the days, 19,000 as, allowance, how they actually, some of them were supporting their family with it. You can actually afford to buy half bag of rice, and then now today you are having 70,000 right, but, you struggle to buy a bag of rice. This is the conversation that this president has put us in. Now, all of this started when he won the election. Right. So
all of it?
All of it started when he won the election.
And he talked about the removal of subsidy in his
exactly. So
speech.
now the thing is this, right? If we are talking about this president, we also have to talk about how he came into office. And if we are talking about how he came into office, there's no way we're leaving INEC out of it. The judiciary also has its part, but then he started very much with INEC because INEC hadn't declared. There would be no reason for us to go to court. So that's exactly what Rotimi Aichi is saying.
Wow. So let's take a look at the next tweet, which is Rotimi Aichi actually confirming that, yes, he's resigned from the APC. Channels TV was the one that put up this tweet. Channels Television says, I have sent my APC resignation letter to my ward, ex-Rivers Governor Rotimi Aichi. That's him there. There's another tweet by Channels TV again, Rotimi talking about President Buhari and President Tinubu. Channel Television put up the post. It says, Buhari's government was there to make Nigerians happy, unlike Tinubu's government, says ex-Rivers Governor Rotimi Aichi.
This is not true.
It's not true?
But it's just that this is worse.
Okay.
Yes.
Johnny explain. So you're saying former President Muhammadu Buhari did not want to make people happy?
No. I mean, his administration is very much about... I think less than 3 years gone, so we can actually tell what really happened. It was in the administration that we had the Agatu massacre. That's synonymous to the Yewata that we are talking about here.
Is there a difference between wanting to make people happy and not being able to make them happy? Is it possible to have the desire and then not have the ability to make it happen?
If you are the president and you have the desire, you have the ability.
That's not true. So you remember how the president wanted to remove fuel subsidy, right? But he kept going back and forth and back and forth. So his inner caucus was saying that he didn't want to do it, even though some people labeled it as weakness. And some people are saying Tinubu is actually strong to make this very tough, economic reforms. But according to sources close to the president, he said, someone like Femi Adesina said the president didn't want the masses to feel the brunt of it when subsidy was completely removed. Some people will say, maybe it was because his administration didn't have the technical know-how and all of that. And like I say again, this is at the risk of playing the devil's advocate. So you are saying that what Rotimi Aichi said is not true. You said it's not true that Buhari didn't want to make the Nigerians happy, but you're also saying that the situation is even worse under this administration.
Yes.
C'est fini. End of discussion.
See, you can have, as a president, if you have the will to actually make something, you want to do something, you can do it. Nobody's going to stop you. This president got into office. The very first day he said, subsidy is gone.
But you've also talked about the faulty institution. I know Ruben Abati, who is a media personality and also a writer.
It's the same subsidy we were talking about, that this president removed.
Come up to say one time that Asu Rock is haunted. And people have said if an angel goes to that place, they probably will not do well because of the institution, which is already faulty. And then you kind of supported the former president of Olusegun Obasanjo, who had called for Afro-democracy because according to him, the Western kind of democracy which Nigeria and Africa is practicing has failed the continent.
There are certain decisions exclusive for the president. You don't even need the judiciary, the legislator to actually, come in. These are one of those cases like subsidy and all of that. Okay, that's the conversation we're having. There are cases where you know that the bottleneck is with the legislator. And when it happens, if the president has political will that wants to do it, you carry the people along. You tell them, I want to do this. This is what's happening. That's exactly
what I want to do this, but my hands are tied.
Exactly. So
is it like something like Aisha Buhari did, the former first lady, when she came out to cry publicly?
Exactly.
That the cabal is the one that is caging her husband.
Come out, speak, right? These are the things. You are a human being. The nation will definitely rally around you. Nigerians want a leader they can trust.
That's a good strategy.
But over the years, we've not had someone who has placed the people, above the power and the dues that comes with the or the perks that come with the office that occupy. So
let's make a differentiation, right? People have talked about the strong personality of the current president, Bola Tinubu. Now let's talk about former President Muhammadu Buhari. So his wife said the cabal had caged him. That's a possibility. You agree, yeah?
Okay.
So is that something like the cabal? And do you think if the cabal caged the president like former President Muhammadu Buhari, is this so-called cabal able to cage someone like President Tinubu?
So the thing is that when we talk about cabal, within the confines of power, what we are talking about is people who are actually, your kitchen cabinet. Most especially, we are even first of all referring to your chief of staff, because this is more like the person who stands, between you and the public. Now, that person, right, can actually, stop certain persons from coming to you.
Yeah.
But you, as a person, naturally will definitely get information about how the country runs. And the best decision for the country, you will take it. He does not have, to tell you what to do. Obasanjo actually made mention of, I think when he was having a public address, he was saying that one of the things that helped him succeed was the fact that, he listened to a lot of advice, but he rarely take them. He took the best decision for the country at the point.
So the bulk stops.
Exactly. So whatever happens, if you say, kudos to this government, it is Obasanjo. Yeah. If you say this government is useless, you're talking about him. So that's exactly how a president who wants to do something right for the people thinks.
I mean, someone who resigned from this administration, a number of them have done in recent times, and some people are asking, why are they resigning and all of that? One of the people, I think one of the president's spokesperson or advisors who resigned said, all the years he's worked in this administration, he's never seen the president. He's never been close to him. And someone asked why. He said because the president wanted it to be so. So that's what you're saying.
So yes, exactly. Because the truth is, if the president wants, to see you, if the president wants to actually take a decision as the president of the country, nobody's going to stop the president, right? Yes, there are certain persons you want to listen to. There are certain persons that have your number on speed dial, that anytime you see their call, you want to take it, but then you take the final decision. One of the problems, in fact, one of the reasons Jonathan actually lost the 2012 election, 2015 election rather, was the fact that he drifted away from people like Obasanjo and Co, because he decided to take his own decision, right? It shows you that yes, as a president you can actually take certain decisions. People can actually advise you. They are there to advise you. But when you want to take decision, you definitely take it. It's solely your responsibility. So when Amechi come here to tell us that, hey, you know what, this president wants to make life better, come. We had loads of killing under this government. How many times did he visit those communities? Were he stopped? Did the cabal stop him from visiting this community to actually check how this community are actually faring?
So what you're saying is it takes more than a desire to rule a country,
Lip service is not enough.
You have to have the technical know-how and all of that.
That's very much important.
Let's move on now to the next hashtag, which is hashtag Tinubu. I was going to say hashtag Buhari, but that comes after hashtag Tinubu. So the president is trending, and I got a couple of tweets, right? I just want to take you straight to it so that Ikechukwu and I will have a go at it, right? Let's go on X and find out why President Tinubu is trending. So Arise News put up this one, and they are quoting Dele Momodu. So Tinubu knows the Wikes of the world need him for survival. He will continue to use them. This is Momodu talking. Tinubu fought for democracy, but because he must do a second term by fire or by force, he is destroying democracy. Dele Momodu, former presidential candidate, PDP, who is also a member of the coalition. That's what he said. I don't know if you want to address this before we take a look at what Kenneth Okonkwo is saying. Let's go to the second tweet, and then I'll play a video for you, Kenneth. Now, so Chudi says, he's quoting Kenneth Okonkwo, coalition, Tinubu and Shetima will never understand what is about to hit them. Kenneth Okonkwo. So Chudi put up this video. Credit goes to him. Take a listen.
Our power. This party is about the welfare of Nigerians. And I can tell you categorically, I told you that before I get into an association or a political party, I take my time. When I left my last political party, it was more than 1 year ago. And I made it clear I wasn't going into APC or PDP. If there is no new arrangement that I'm sure will take care of the welfare of Nigerians, I will stay in my house and pray. Because that's the only reason I came into politics. And as God will have it, meaning that God has really heard the prayers of Nigerians.
All right, it's quite a lengthy video. You might want to check it out. He said some very interesting things. But he just talked about the coalition. He's re-echoing what the interim chairman is saying, Senator David Mark, who said this is not all about power, but it's for the welfare of Nigerians. That's what Kenneth Okonkwo just said. And basically, he's saying that this is strong and this is going to be massive. So you want to react to Dele Momodu first, who said President Tinubu needs the Wikes of this world, and how he talked about President Tinubu having fought for democracy but derailing at the moment. And then you talk about what Kenneth just said.
So this whole idea of fighting for democracy is still what I'm yet to understand. But then I think that's not...
You know, it's simple. Fight for democracy means fight for democracy. Like Abiola did.
Abiola actually won an election, right? And then, you know, he was actually denied the access to Asoro.
So he didn't fight for democracy?
So who?
Abiola.
No, that's what I'm saying. Abiola actually won an election. So he's actually the idea behind, you know, the whole fighting for democracy thing. But for the coalition, right, I think anyone who is actually, you know, a politically conscious person will understand that Wike is very instrumental for the president. If you remember, when the president won an election, just won this election, he went to Rivers State to actually commission a project. And then when Yesufu Wike was still very much the governor before, you know, he was actually removed. And one of the things the president said there was that Wike wants, you know, reimbursement for the project he did because it was a federal project. And then he said, you know, if you want that, you have to lobby me. Right. There was, you know, a lot of horse trading, you know, and then at the end of the day, Wike played, you know, a very strong part. Of course, you know, he's a lawyer himself, right? Right. So he played a very strong part in actually, you know, seeing that the president actually got, you know, to office. Right. Now, he's still very much, you know,
said
there.
He's going to do it again.
He's still very much there, and the strongest opposition party, Wike, you know, in fact, he destroyed it. He destroyed PDP, made PDP, you know, a carcass. Yes, absolutely. He made PDP, you know, a non-existent political party. Right. Just there for the name, but nothing inside. No content.
Wike is single-handedly responsible.
Yes, absolutely.
For the condition
I mean, we all
itself.
saw it, right?
There's internal wrangling as well.
See, we all saw it. Now, I think, yes, one of the reasons why it was easy for Wike to actually do what he did was after they lost the 2015 election.
So they were already fractured.
You know, so many big wigs actually left the party, and he and some other persons stood there. And of course, political party needs, you know, money to run, and Wike was very much there. You know, River State is one of those states with deep pockets. He did all he did, you know, to keep the party together. And then, of course, he gained the trust of a huge number of persons in that party.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately or fortunately, he lost the 2023 election candidacy to Atiku Abubakar. So he was in the party. Now, a party who you helped
not Wike?
Yes, Wike.
So he was supposed to deputize Atiku, but he lost it to Okowa.
Yes.
Right.
No, first he lost the ticket.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, last minute, courtesy of his friend Tambow, who actually, played.
So they are no longer friends anymore.
Absolutely.
He actually criticizing Tambow.
Yes.
Right now.
So that happened, and then he moved. He moved on, and he stayed put in the party. So the party he helped nurture back to life after 2015. Now, still the same person who, because of course the plant which you wet, help to grow, you know what it takes to actually pull it from its root.
When you say nurture, do you mean him being the main financier?
Yes, he was very much the main financier at that point in the party. So he did what he did now, and of course you see the last case in court, the case of Sam Daddy, that's Sam Anyanwu from Imo State, who is the secretary. They say we don't want you. He insisted, and then at the end of the day, the guy is back. So because he's done a lot for the party, he has that say. Now everyone has said, you know what, take your party, because I mean, PDP is going to be the biggest opposition to APC any day, anytime. Now, the PDP is no longer there, right? They form a new coalition. Now, this is exactly why a lot of persons have been saying, you know what, you guys do not know what hit you. Now, look, this is what it means.
So we are wrapping this one up now, this particular hashtag. So in a nutshell, you're saying truly Tinubu needs Wike?
Absolutely. He will always need Wike. The same way Wike also needs him to keep River State intact.
So what do you want to react? How do you want to say... Kenneth Okonkwo, how do you want to react to what he said?
So basically, right, it's just like, you look at a big, a house, and then you have, little children in the house. And then you look at a very small house, and you have big men in the house. So you look at ADC as that small child. Now the big men from this house moved into that small house. And now that small house, the people who are inside the house is the reflection of whatever it is the house is carrying, or the roof, the house is made of. And now that's exactly what ADC. These are people, seasoned politicians.
So you're saying Kenneth Okonkwo is right for saying the APC does not know what has hit it?
No, I don't think the APC doesn't know what has hit it.
It does.
They know.
Because they're trying to lambaste the APC right now.
They know the quality of the politicians in the ADC. The truth is, at this point, yes, if the APC, underrates the ADC, the people in the ADC, I think they need to go back to understand what politics 101 is. And I'm not sure, for someone like Tinubu, who is a core politician before anything else, who want to actually, at any point lose sleep over the defection and people who are actually forming this party. This is still very much 2025.
Yeah.
We see at 2026 where the heat of the campaign year will start. Absolutely. And that's exactly when you see a lot of cross-carpeting. And trust me, at the end of the day, the whole nation, we have a lot of meals in our hands.
Oh my gosh. Let's move on now to the next hashtag, which is hashtag Buhari, I beg your pardon. So former President Buhari is in the UK for a medical checkup. But then the rumors started flying left, right, and center that he is in the ICU. It reminds me of what happened when he was president. And former Ekiti State Governor Aisha Yufu had said, it is true drip that he's eating and all of that and all of that. That rumor was debunked and all of that, allegedly, really. So it has happened again. Let me take you to this. It's just one tweet, right? And they're debunking the rumors that the president is critically ill. So let's go to X now and find out what is up with former President Muhammadu Buhari and his trip to the UK. Bashir Ahmad, in light of the recent media reports suggesting that former President Muhammadu Buhari is critically ill and has been admitted to the intensive care unit ICU, we find it necessary to set the record straight. It is true that former President Buhari is unwell and is currently receiving medical attention. However, contrary to the exaggerated claims circulating in the media, he is stable and responding well to treatment, and we are optimistic about his full recovery. We appreciate the outpouring of prayers and goodwill from his supporters and well-wishers around the world. We continue to pray for his complete and speedy recovery. Thank you. Just a few seconds, you want to react to this, and then we'll move on to the next.
He came out. this is a very good response to it. I mean, there's no reason coming out to actually deny it's actually not well.
In the hospital,
yes, he's actually ill, but not in the ICU. And of course, I mean, we wish him the very best of recovery.
Yes, we wish him a very quick recovery. And the next one, rather very unfortunate, is our last hashtag for today. It is our very own Peter Rufai. The news just broke. He is dead. Gosh, this was a talented, probably one of the most talented goalkeepers the nation's ever saw. Yeah. There's a name,
Dodo Mayana.
He's dead. Let me take you to Twitter, to X. I'll pull up a couple of tweets, and then Ikechukwu will talk a little bit about him, and then we'll wrap this up. So Pooja says, sad day for football community. Super Eagles legend Peter Rufai is dead, popularly called Dodo Mayana. This is sad. The next tweet, let's take a look at it. Mohammed Jamal says, we have lost, and this is not even in Nigerian. Mohammed Jamal said, we have lost a true legend. Peter Rufai stood tall for Nigeria between the posts and in our hearts. A hero of 94, a giant of the game, and a proud son of the nation. May his legacy live on. Rest in peace, Dodo Mayana. Talking about 94, I grew up in Makurdi, Benue State. In Kwara Fakotas particularly. I remember I was singing the songs. We were kids, we didn't even know much about football. But we would sing, our goalkeeper, Magneto, their goalkeeper, Shoemaker, and all of that. It was Rufai.
Yeah,
but a few seconds before we wrap
Rufai actually, is going to be a very big miss, an inspiration. And I just hope that, the country gives him, the state burial that he deserves. I mean, these are legends that we'll always look back and remember. They give us, a very good thing to remember. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's so sad. I mean, we had a conversation about a footballer who had a car crash today. He died with his brother, and now today we're having, the Super Eagles legend. It's so sad. I think it's a very terrible week for the world of football. Yeah, and we hope that the souls of the departed would rest in peace. Amen. This is where we're going to wrap it up for today's episode of Hashtag. Thanks to everyone who contributed to making it a success. The biggest thanks goes to you for watching. Keep a date again with Ikechukwu and I for another episode, same time, same station. Until then, bye.